Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And in this video we're going to be going through the latest character that we receive, and of course on his EX fight. This is on Locke's EX, and the title of his event is Treasure Hunting. Now, before we do start this video, I have a couple of things that I want to say. The first thing is I'm back. As you guys will probably know if you're watching this video, I'm back at home editing, and I'm going to be going through basically this video and Palom's Lost Chapter. Even though that is kind of late, I will still make that video. The one thing that I am unsure of whether I will do it or not is the Destined Destinies. I believe that's the title of the event with Lightning's EX release, and I want to ask you guys whether you still want me to go through the fight with you in my usual format with these kinds of events, the one-time event only, the things that don't come back, whether you want me to go through that or not, because in the next 2 weeks I will be on night shift, and it will actually decrease the load that I have to do, because there are a ton of events and Lost Chapter coming out next month, and basically those next 2 weeks it would lighten the load for me, because I don't think I'll be releasing the videos on day one when they launch, or when the event comes live. I don't think I'll be able to actually release a video guide right on the spot because of my night shift, and -1 video is really gonna help me out. But at the same time, if you guys are struggling, I will make that video. I do have a couple of days off before I do start my night shift next week, so if anything, if there's a lot of requests for it, then I will try my best to do that. But the main focus right now is going to be obviously on this video and on Palom's Lost Chapter, because basically the Lost Chapter is there to stay, and obviously Locke is a new character for the global version of the game. Now, the other thing that I want to, I suppose, say is for the Broadway Saiyan, who is going to be out until further notice, I suppose. I saw his tweet and watched his video. That's rough, and I want to wish him all the best, and hopefully he comes back. Obviously we want him back as soon as possible, but I say just take your time, and hopefully you figure things out with your family, and all the best to you and your family as well. Now, without further ado, let's start this video. Now, of course, we're gonna start off with the weaknesses and resistances and abilities of the Necro Raven. As for its weaknesses, it is weak to ice and thunder elements, plus it's weak to physical range attacks. And most of the time, if it is in its low altitude, it is also weak to melee attacks, but we'll go through that a little bit later. As for its resistance, it has a resistance to the dark element. Now, the first ability it has, and I suppose this is the gimmick of this fight, is reincarnation. It's used when he's taking damage that would incapacitate it. It removes all the debuffs, including frames, and will restore all of its HP, and will raise its initial max brave, attack, defense, and speed, and it moves to the low altitude after its use. Next, it has the Dark Blast ability, which is a magic HP attack and can also inflict blind. Now, it has two stances. As for its first one, it is the low altitude stance, which makes it weak to melee attacks. Its abilities include Fire, which is a fire magic brave attack, and this will turn to Fire from level 61. Flare Rock, which is a fire magic brave attack and raises its turn rate when inflicting a break or attacking a target afflicted with break. Next is Dim Burst, which is a dark magic brave attack which also inflicts defense down. Magma Wave increases its brave, then uses a group magic HP attack. This also has a high turn rate. And next it has Nocturnal Salutation. This moves it from the low altitude to high altitude and raises its attack, max brave, and speed. Now let's take a look at the high altitude stance. It recovers brave each turn while he is on high altitude. His Fire will turn into Firaga, which is a fire magic brave attack. It has Ash Venom, which is a group dark magic brave attack which also inflicts defense down. Dark Hole, this recovers from break and it is a dark magic brave attack plus an HP attack, and the kicker here is it also inflicts sap. Next it has Gathering Strength, which just increases its brave. Honestly, I haven't actually seen this happen, so I'm guessing this happens later on in the fight if you really didn't get to kill it as fast as you could, but I never really seen it. And finally, it has Return to Lower Altitude, which cancels its attack, max brave, and speed boost from Nocturnal Salutation. Okay, so now that we know the weaknesses, the resistances, and the abilities of the Necro Raven, it's time to talk about some general tips and guides. Now the first one is to obviously save about 70 to 80% of your abilities for the boss. With reincarnation, you may end up running out of abilities if you just keep on using it without any consideration at all. Next is to bring in the boosted characters such as Locke, Setzer, and Celeste. And if you don't have any of these characters, the other characters that you can consider are Lightning, Vincent, Kryle, Edge, Onion Knight, Papa Limo, Snow, Garnet, Kane, Laguna, Alice, Raijin, Lilith, or Beatrix. You can also add Kater in there as well, but I just find her not a very, great character overall, so she might get a rework soon, I don't know. But obviously the boss only has a dark resistance, so you have a myriad of characters that you can bring, like for example Bart's, I feel like will do pretty well here as well. So it's really up to you guys, as long as you stay away from the dark attacks like Dark Knight Cecil or Shantoto, for example. Those are the kinds of characters you don't really want to bring in this fight. As for the healer / brave battery options, you have an option between Selphie, Eiko, and Katesith. Now you can also bring Aerith or Yuna, but I feel like Selphie, Eiko, and Katesith are probably the top tier healers / brave battery. I didn't really consider Lilith as a healer per se, because I do believe she only heals herself with her HP attack plus, so that doesn't really help the entire party. As for the summon, you do have an option between Ifrit and Bahamut, and obviously if you want you can bring Shiva or Ramu as well, but those two are probably the best choice as for the summon. Okay, now let's take a look at some general tips for the fight itself. Honestly guys, there's really not much I can say here. This is probably one of the easiest EX we've had in a long time. But overall, here are my tips. The first one is obviously freeze is your friend. Setzer is the main character really here that you really want to bring, you know, for your support or for yourself, for your main party. Poison and sap are also nice here, so you don't get those HP attacks. But if you don't plan to bring Setzer or any poison sappers, I do believe bringing a healer will be something you may consider. Next is turn delay. Will let you take advantage of its melee weakness whilst it is in its low altitude stance. Obviously, having extra damage will help you here, and if you can delay the Necro Raven further and further with Setzer and Lightning, in this case, since Quistis is still not in the level 60 era, then you will take advantage of that melee weakness, so more damage, much better, higher HP attacks. So there you go. Next is to use your summon wisely. If you are going for the chase team, I do believe they will still be effective in this particular EX. Then you have to make sure you summon at a good time. Honestly speaking, I would summon after it's done a reincarnation, since it will raise most of its stats at that point, and I don't know, you may have difficulties in that, I'm not entirely sure, but I never had a problem with it. And finally, DPS, DPS, DPS. Basically, this is kind of a DPS fight thing, but overall, you know, that's basically a lot of the EX that we've had. You have to have high DPS, but in this case, honestly, because I've really ran out of things to say. Anyway, let's go through the party compositions. Okay, for the possible party compositions, now the first one is obviously going to be the synergy characters, which are Locke, Setzer, and Celeste. Now for the support, I did put Setzer here. I feel like he is the best support that you can get here, basically to freeze the boss so it doesn't get the, I suppose, the brave to do any HP attacks. And obviously Celeste is there to take all of the magic attacks. This boss does only have magic brave attacks and magic HP attacks, so Celeste is gonna be really great for this particular EX. As for the summon, I do have Ifrit and Bahamut, so it's really up to you between those two. The next one I have here is obviously the video that you are seeing is Lightning, Lilith and Setzer, with a Setzer support plus a Bahamut summon. Now, I actually used Kate Sith before, and I think I was short a few points, and I thought to myself, well, maybe because I had I received an HP attack on that one, but I do believe if you replace Lilith with Kate Sith, you will still get that required points to get all the rewards. And I made quite a few mistakes on that particular run as well. It was my first blind run, so there you go. You can switch Lilith around if you want, but Lightning and Setzer are definitely gonna help you in this fight, especially the delay. Next I have here, I've been looking around Reddit and Facebook groups, and this is I found this quite interesting, the Bart's, Agrias, and Eiko. Now obviously, like I said earlier, there are a ton of variety of teams that you can use for this particular EX, because it's not that hard. As well, it's not as hard as the ones that we've had in the last, I don't know, month or 2 months. So this is a welcome breather for a lot of the players. As for its support, I did just put Setzer there because I feel he is the best one, and of course you do have Bahamut as your summon. And finally, we have the launch team with obviously a Lail support and the Pandemonium summon. basically it is the launch team, so Lael, Kate Sith, Lisette, whoever you really want. As long as you have Lael there and a couple of Brave batteries, you should be fine. And so I think I'm about to end this video, but before that, obviously my final thoughts on this fight. Well, I do feel like this is probably one of the easier fights, EX fights that we've had as of late, and it's, you know, a sigh of relief. I thought that this would be a little bit harder, and because I basically, when this event launched, I was on my last day in Japan, and I thought I really need to get this done before I fly out early in the morning the next day. So you know, I managed to do it, which is great. And you know, like I said, probably one of the easiest EX fight that we received, but otherwise I really don't have any other comments about it. If you are struggling, then please let me know in the comments below, and remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful at all. As always, I like to go through you guys, which team did you use to beat this fight, and obviously the most obscure team the better. And I know there's a lot of things when I look at Reddit and stuff like that, I do see a lot of different teams and strategies, but I like to engage with you guys here in my channel, rather than me like just sifting through all of the different characters or teams. So yeah, and make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.